Your liver is secretly storing belly fat, and you have absolutely no idea. Most people blame slow metabolism, bad genetics, or simply getting older every year. But here is what nobody talks about. The real problem is hiding inside one organ. That organ is your liver, and it has been quietly working against you this whole time. Stay with me because this changes everything you thought you knew about belly fat. Researchers now estimate that 40% of adults are walking around with a fatty liver right now. That is almost 4 out of every 10 people you pass on the street today. And the most unsettling part, most of them have absolutely no symptoms and no warning signs. No pain, no obvious signs, just a stubborn belly that refuses to move no matter what. You try eating clean, you try exercising harder, but that midsection just will not budge at all. Here is what most people get completely wrong. They keep solving the wrong problem every single time. They count calories, they cut carbs, they push through every workout with zero real results. Because the actual bottleneck was never your plate. It was always a congested, overloaded liver. Now let me show you exactly how this works, because this will completely change your approach forever. Think about what your liver actually does every single second, running quietly in the background for you. It filters everything coming into your body. It manages your hormones. It controls your blood sugar levels. But here is the part almost nobody understands. Your liver is the traffic controller for body fat. When your liver is running clean, it pulls fat in and burns it as usable fuel. But when it gets congested and overloaded, it does the exact opposite and parks fat instead. And one of the places it parks that fat is deep inside your midsection, around your organs. That deep fat has a specific name. It is called visceral fat, and it is metabolically dangerous. This is not the fat you can pinch from the outside. This is the fat you cannot see. It drives inflammation. It drives insulin resistance. It quietly works against every effort you make daily. And the projections are getting worse. Experts say 1 in 2 adults could have fatty livers soon. Sit with that for a second. Half of all adults may have this condition within 15 years. Now here is the most important question you need to ask yourself right now in this moment. Why does your liver start storing fat instead of burning it? What actually causes this to happen? Write this down, because this next part is the single most important thing in this entire video. There was a real human study done on children consuming high amounts of sugar every single day. Researchers simply swapped their sugar for starch. Same total calories, same total food. Absolutely nothing else changed. The only difference was removing the sugar, specifically a sugar type called fructose, from their daily diet. And in just 9 days, the fat inside their livers dropped measurably on an actual medical scanner. No calorie cut, no extra exercise, no supplements, just pulling one type of sugar completely out. That tells you something massive about how belly fat actually works and where it really comes from. A huge portion of liver fat is not fat you ate. It is sugar your liver converted. Your liver is basically a sugar-to-fat factory, and fructose is the fastest raw material it uses. So the liver controls fat flow, and sugar is the main ingredient clogging the entire system up. Now here is the next question most people never think to ask, and this is a big one. Once the liver is clogged, what specific tool does your body actually use to break fat down? This is where a fluid called bile comes in, and most people have never heard about it seriously. Here is what nobody talks about. Bile is the most underrated fat-burning fluid inside your body. Think of bile like dish soap. Have you ever tried washing a greasy pan with just cold water? It does not work at all. The grease just smears around and the pan stays completely dirty. You need the soap to grab the grease, lift it off, and actually clean the surface properly. In your body, bile is that soap. It breaks fat down so your body can process it. When bile is flowing well, fat gets processed, energy goes up, and your midsection starts responding naturally. But when bile gets thick and sluggish, the whole fat processing line backs up completely inside you. And modern life is perfectly designed to make your bile thick, sluggish, and almost completely non-functional. The medical term for this is hepatic biliary sludge. My simple term for it is just thick bile. Here is one major reason this happens. The average person in America eats 17 to 23 times daily. When you snack constantly, your gallbladder never gets a clear signal to fully empty and properly refill. So bile sits, thickens, and loses its ability to emulsify fat the way your body actually needs. This next part is the most important thing to understand before I show you the actual tonic recipe. The real question becomes this: how do you tell your body to release fresh bile first thing daily? And the answer has been sitting in your spice cabinet the entire time, completely overlooked and underestimated. Most people get this completely wrong. They think expensive supplements are the only way to support liver health. But two of the most studied kitchen ingredients on the planet can do something most supplements simply cannot match. Those two ingredients are ginger and turmeric. And the human research behind both is genuinely remarkable and repeatable. Let me start with ginger first, because this study is one most people have never heard about before. In a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, people with fatty liver took ginger daily for 12 weeks. Their liver enzymes dropped measurably, their inflammation markers came down, and their insulin resistance actually improved significantly. Their liver fat also dropped. And when researchers combined multiple ginger trials together, the same pattern held consistently. Lower liver enzymes, better insulin sensitivity, reduced liver fat, repeated across multiple human trials over and over again. That is not folklore or ancient wisdom being romanticized. That is actual repeated human data you can trust. Now, let me give you the number I want you to remember, because you are going to share this. In a randomized, placebo-controlled trial on turmeric, the turmeric group saw their liver fat improve by 79%. The placebo group only saw about 27% improvement, and this happened in just 8 short weeks of use. 79% liver fat improvement from a spice that has been sitting in your kitchen for literally thousands of years. Stay with me because this next part changes everything, and most people completely miss this critical detail always. Here is what nobody talks about when it comes to turmeric, and this is the part that matters most. Turmeric's active compound is called curcumin, and it is famously difficult for your body to absorb on its own. Most of it passes straight through your system, which is exactly why most people feel absolutely nothing from it. But there is a fix so simple it almost sounds too easy, and that fix is just black pepper. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine, and it can dramatically boost how much curcumin your body actually absorbs. One small pinch of black pepper with your turmeric, and your body can finally use what you are taking. That single detail is the whole game right there. Pepper is the unlock that makes turmeric actually work properly. Most people sprinkle turmeric on their food and wonder why nothing ever changes or improves for them at all. Now you know exactly why. And now you know exactly what to do differently starting tomorrow morning. So, that is your engine, ginger and turmeric, with black pepper to make the turmeric actually count properly. Now let me show you the two ingredients that turn this from a simple tea into a bile-moving tonic. This drink takes 60 seconds to make, costs about $2, and uses ingredients you likely already have at home. Here is the complete build. And make sure you include every single ingredient because each one has a specific job. Number 1. Start with a strong cup of ginger tea as your base for this entire morning tonic. Fresh ginger sliced into hot water is the best option, but a plain ginger tea bag also works fine. Make it strong enough that you feel a little warmth and a little bite coming from the ginger itself. That bite is actually the point. It signals that the active compounds are present and doing their job properly. Number 2. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric plus a pinch of black pepper directly into the hot tea. Stir it well into the ginger tea base, and please do not skip the pepper under any circumstances whatsoever. If you have fresh turmeric root available, grate a little directly into the cup for even better results overall. Either way, the pepper goes in every single time, because without it, the curcumin is barely absorbed at all. Number 3. Squeeze in half a fresh lemon, and make sure you use a real lemon, not a bottle. The lemon supports digestion and helps stimulate bile flow, giving your liver an additional gentle nudge every morning. Number 4. Add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And I know this sounds strange in tea, but here is the reason this is the secret weapon. And this is what ties the entire drink together completely. Your gallbladder does not fully open just because something tastes strong, or bitter, or peppery in your mouth. It really opens up when it senses fat arriving. Because fat is the actual biological trigger for bile release. There is a beautiful human study showing exactly this. When researchers gave people olive oil, something remarkable happened inside them. The hormone that tells your gallbladder to squeeze, called CCK, climbed to roughly 3 times its normal baseline level. 3 times the bile release signal just from 1 tablespoon of olive oil consumed first thing in the morning. Olive oil is one of the cleanest and strongest open-the-valve signals you can send to your body daily. Now here is something important for anyone who no longer has a gallbladder, because this question comes up constantly always. Does this protocol still help if your gallbladder has been removed? And the answer is absolutely and emphatically yes. Your liver still produces bile even without a gallbladder. The gallbladder is just the storage house for that bile. This protocol is actually even more important for you if your gallbladder is no longer there at all. So, add that tablespoon of olive oil, stir everything well, and drink this first thing on an empty stomach. Before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else enters your body, this drink goes in first thing every morning. The turmeric and oil will want to settle to the bottom. Give it a good stir before drinking it. It might look a little cloudy and slightly oily on top. That is completely normal and expected every time. And whatever you do, do not add honey, do not add sweeteners, do not add anything sweet to this. The whole point of this drink is to be savory, bitter, and clean. Sweetening it works directly against you. The first sip will have some real bite to it. I am not going to pretend otherwise with you here. It is bitter and strong. But you can simply chug it and then chase it down with plain water immediately. Now let me walk you through exactly what to expect, day by day and week by week on this protocol. Drink this every morning within 45 minutes of waking up, on an empty stomach before coffee or any food. You can sip it slowly over 10 minutes, or just drink it all at once like I personally do daily. After drinking it, wait 30 to 45 minutes before eating your first meal of the morning each day. That quiet gap is where your liver and gallbladder work completely uninterrupted, without anything competing for their attention at all. Do this every single morning for at least the next 14 days. And then, watch what starts to happen. On day 1, most people report feeling a gentle warmth in their stomach in their about 20 minutes of drinking. It feels like a small furnace quietly switching on inside you. That is, the ginger and bile response activating. Some people also feel a little less bloated on that very first day, which is already an encouraging early sign. If the olive oil makes you feel slightly queasy at first, simply cut that tablespoon down to half a tablespoon. Around days 4 and 5, the morning bloat tends to ease noticeably, and your bathroom rhythm becomes more regular naturally. That is, bile doing its job, moving things along the way your digestive system was always designed to work. Some people even report that their skin looks clearer and brighter, just 1 week into this simple morning routine. Week 2 is where most people notice the change that surprises them the most. And it is about energy. You stop white-knuckling your morning just to function. Your natural energy arrives without needing to chase the coffee machine. That shift in morning energy is one of the clearest early signs that your liver is beginning to respond well. And around this same time, many people also start noticing that their waistline is beginning to slowly respond too. Week 4 is where the bigger picture really starts to come into focus, and the human data backs this up. In a 6-week study, people following a Mediterranean-style eating pattern dropped their liver fat by more than a third. In a 2-month trial, people on a low-carb ketogenic approach cut their liver fat dramatically more than others. And their drops in visceral fat, that dangerous deep belly fat, were significantly larger than the standard low-calorie group. Here is what all of this actually means when you put it together into one simple and actionable daily practice. This morning tonic is the nudge your system needs to start moving in the right direction every single day. And when you combine it with eating real whole food and reducing your sugar intake, the results accelerate dramatically. A low-carbohydrate or ketogenic approach combined with some fasting and this daily tonic, that is where real change lives. Now maybe you are thinking, I am never drinking an oily, peppery turmeric tea every morning for 2 weeks straight. That is completely fair, and that is exactly why I want to give you another powerful option to consider here. Because whether you make the tonic or not, the real goal is always the same underneath everything else entirely. Support your liver, reduce oxidative stress, and help your body recover from years of accumulated metabolic overload and damage. And one of the most important compounds involved in that entire recovery process is something called glutathione inside your body. Think of glutathione as your liver's dedicated cleanup crew, working quietly around the clock every single day for you. Every single day, your liver is processing pollutants, plastics, pesticides, medications, stress hormones, and years of ultra-processed food damage. Every single one of those creates oxidative stress directly inside your liver cells, and glutathione is what neutralizes that stress. Here is what nobody talks about. Most people struggling with fatty liver are burning through glutathione much faster than they replace it. When glutathione starts depleting, inflammation rises, recovery slows down significantly, energy drops, and fat burning becomes much harder overall. This is why I personally take NAC every single day, which stands for N-acetylcysteine, to support glutathione production naturally. NAC gives your body the raw material it needs to actually produce its own glutathione from the inside out daily. And that matters because your liver cannot recover and perform optimally without an adequate and consistent supply of this compound. If you have spent years trying to lose belly fat while your liver has been overloaded, your body needs more support. This next part is the most important thing to understand about NAC before you decide whether it is right for you. NAC is not a magic pill, nothing is, but it supports the very systems your liver relies on to recover. When you are already cleaning up your diet and reducing sugar intake, NAC can be one of the most valuable additions. Because you are finally supporting the organ that sits at the center of everything, your liver and its ability to recover. My students regularly tell me their brain fog is lifting, their energy is up, and they feel far less inflamed overall. That is what happens when you stop fighting your body and start actually supporting the organ carrying the heaviest burden daily. Now, if you want to take this even further, beyond the tonic and the daily lifestyle shifts you are already making, there is a 45-day plan I have put together specifically designed to customize your approach to keto and fasting properly. It includes dietary swaps, protocols for people without gallbladders, specific guidance for diabetics, and separate chapters for men and women. Because how women with a menstrual cycle do this is genuinely different from how postmenopausal women or men should approach it. This book covers everything we talked about today and goes much deeper into the protocols that actually produce lasting, real results. Now let me bring this full circle back to where we started, because I want this to land completely for you today. Your belly fat was never a willpower problem, and you were never lazy, and your metabolism was never truly broken. You were simply solving the wrong problem the entire time, and nobody ever pointed you toward the real root cause. Everyone kept pointing at your plate, your discipline, your consistency, when the actual bottleneck was a congested and overburdened liver. Now you understand the mechanism. You know why bile matters. You know what sugar is doing inside your liver daily. You know the drink. You know the ingredients. You know exactly what each one does and why it belongs there. A few inexpensive ingredients, about $2 maximum, 60 seconds every morning, for at least the next 14 days straight. Here is what nobody talks about at the end of these videos. The results do not come from knowing this information. They come from actually doing it, showing up every morning, giving your liver the consistent support it has always needed. Your liver has been carrying the burden for years, quietly, without complaint, without symptoms, without ever asking for anything from you. Now you finally know what it needs, and now you finally have the tools to actually give it that support. Start tomorrow morning. Make the tonic. Drink it before anything else, and give your body 14 days to respond naturally. Because when your liver finally gets the support it needs, energy improves, inflammation comes down, and fat starts moving again. And that stubborn belly that has frustrated you for years may finally start to respond in a way that surprises you completely.